Hi, I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
We're the insiders. Ron Johnson, interesting character. Is he going to be running in 2 years? Right now, Homeland Security Committee, and he's looking at whether Hunter Biden was involved in some nefarious activities. He's underwater in his polling numbers. And by the way, Mitt Romney, his colleague, says that he shouldn't be doing what he's doing with the Homeland Security thing. He should not be aiding a campaign. Is that the way you see it, Scott, or do you see it a different way?
I think with regards to the polling numbers, I don't think those are as indicative of what Ron Johnson's future is as perhaps his fundraising numbers. He hasn't been fundraising. That's usually a sign that someone is unlikely to run for re-election. But I think here in the case of Ron Johnson, we saw this once before. I think he fashions himself as a citizen legislator. He's not like other career politicians who are always campaigning and always raising money. He didn't do that in the last cycle. He didn't really have as much money as his opponent until right at the end. And he came sneaking up and won again. I think now what we're going to see after this election is that Ron Johnson will sit down and decide whether or not he wants to run for re-election. I think in his heart, he likes the pledge he made to just serve 2 terms and then go back home to the people. But if the Republicans are just barely hanging on to the United States Senate by 51-49 votes, my guess is there'll be extraordinary pressure from the national level begging him to run for re-election one more time just to make sure that we keep that seat in the Republican column in Wisconsin.
I think all of that is true, but I have to say that Ron Johnson is becoming an embarrassment for this state. When you have people from your own party taking a shot at you, saying that you're off on a political endeavor when you're supposedly running something that's supposed to be about a nonpartisan thing like protecting the homeland, that's pretty bad stuff. And you'll see that come back to haunt him. I would say this, though. All these pledges that people make about only serving for 2 terms or whatever, as Ron Johnson did, they often are, as Scott says, very much ignored. They're honored more in the breach than in the adherence to these pledges. Ron Johnson, though, he's already underwater on his numbers. And I don't think that that's a good place to be this far out. You would think that most people would not be paying attention to him, but he has not done a good job. He has not served himself well. That's not to say that he can't pull things together in the final 2 years, but he is not well regarded by his colleagues, including Republican colleagues. He's not well respected by them. That's pretty well known around Washington, D.C. And you're right, they'll take a stick of wood over a Democrat if you're a Republican, but they're not thrilled to have Ron Johnson in their club in Washington, D.C.
I'm not sure I would conflate Mitt Romney's criticism of him to be the whole caucus. I think the whole caucus is probably going to be begging him to run if they think it's necessary for him to run again to hang on to that Republican seat. So all will be forgiven, and Mitt isn't exactly the center of the party at the moment anymore.
Oh, Scott, do I recall who was the nominee for president of the United States of the Republican Party? Let's see, the last time Barack Obama ran in 2012, who was that nominee?
Yeah, I was a proud supporter of Mitt Romney's and his vice presidential nominee.
Yes. Well, we'll see you next time, folks.